Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn. Thank you so much for joining our session. As I mentioned to everyone last week, we were going to be celebrating our 1 year anniversary. I
Yay.
have my special guest with me here, my mom. Hi, mom.
Hello.
Okay, so
Hi.
we're going to do
What?
quick introductions in just a little bit, but we wanted to just make sure we let you know who we are. And a lot of times, whenever I'm posting on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, all those places, I'm always saying we. And I realize you've never met my better half, my co founder of the Pivot Strategist. So today, I want us to just get to know my mom, Auntie Mina, Coach Mina. She goes by many different names, but I will have her just briefly say hello and introduce herself, and then we'll kind of go in. So go
Hello,
ahead.
everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Like Timmy said, I'm her mother and her co-partner in the Pivot Strategies coaching. So, what can I say? I'm a mom, a wife, a retired nurse, a Christian, and so I've worn many hats. So it depends on what role I'm feeling at the particular moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Mom. So we want to kind of share with you how this all came to be. My mom, my mom's so funny. My mom, like she said, she's worn many hats throughout her life, and my mom was actually a life coach way before I ever considered being one. And I remember she had gotten her certification, and about a year ago, she said, "Hey, Timmy," my mom and I, we have these really intense, kind of interesting conversations. She calls me one day, like, "Hey, Timmy, you want to start a business?" And I was like, not particularly. I don't have a business in mind. And so we started brainstorming and thinking about what it is that we could do together as a mother-daughter team. And so mom, how did coaching even come up as the thing that we decided on?
Well, like she said, I've been coaching for a long time. Before I got married, after I got married, my husband and I started coaching. But coaching has been something we're doing, not officially, but it's a part of us being who we are. And so I noticed in Timmy, she's also been doing a lot of talking to people in a way coaching. So naturally, when I thought about coaching, helping, and the whole idea is to assist people through what we have learned.
Mhm.
We're sharing from our experiences. And so we help people. So Timmy does the same thing. So naturally, I approached her to join me.
Yes. So my mom is actually my dream mate in my phone. That's what she's saved as. We do a lot of dreaming together. So we thought it was so important to have an intergenerational um, coaching company because we're able to help our clients a lot better. Like she said, we've gone through so many different things. She's lived a life that I haven't reached some of those spaces yet. And so with our coaching combined, I get to be on the life and career side because of my human resources background. I'll give you a little bit of my background, and my mom can tell you some of her certifications. So I'm actually a former teacher, so I'm certified as an educator. I taught middle school through fourth through eighth grade. I taught, and so I was an educator. Then I went on to work in higher education, and then I went to work in human resources. And so that's my scope, my perspective of looking at the world. So a lot of our clients that are at the career side, that's where I take, and my mom happens to take the other side where it's she loves working with women and working with women through stages of their life, whether it's pivoting into motherhood or pivoting out of the workforce into something new, or now as a new retiree, she's helping clients there as well. So we really span the gamut of the different life experiences that people have. And I love that we can stay in our lane. And like she said, she and my dad do relationship coaching as well, and I am unmarried, but she's been married for close to 40 years, 41 years, right? 40
Yes.
plus years. And so like she said, all throughout my childhood, there were people coming in and out of our household getting counseling for their marriage, even premarital counseling. So I'm really grateful that we get to have a really well-rounded coaching skill set there. So I want you to learn a little bit more about Auntie Mina. I will get out of the way so that she can tell you a little bit more about her story. And I'll be asking some questions. We just told you how we came to be the pivot strategist. I will say the name came up because I had a live conversation with a friend, and we were talking about how the really great thing about a pivot is that the world turns around, and we studied something that ice skaters do really well. Their lives are constantly turning, but they're really able to figure out how do they not get dizzy although life is constantly turning. And we realized they have mastered the art of the pivot. And so pivots became the thing that we talked about the most. And then we realized we're not just coaches or consultants, we're strategists. And my mom mentioned that we're Christians and we have a secret weapon, which is really God. The Holy Spirit helps us to find key strategies for our clients. And I mentioned on one of our other broadcasts that even if you're not a believer, even if you're not a Christian, we pray for all of our clients. We pray that God's best will happen for them. And so we're not geniuses who know every single thing, but there is a God in heaven who knows everything and who knows everyone. And so we always try to, in our business, partner with God on behalf of people. So that is our privilege and our honor. So um, I want you to hear how God has partnered with Auntie. I'm going to call her Auntie Mina for the rest of this. So don't think it's weird that I'm calling my own mom Auntie Mina. But in our coaching practice, people call her Coach Mina, Auntie Mina. So I'll let her have the floor to tell you about her own pivot journey, how she came to where she is.
Thank you so much, Timmy. I just want to say that you are a very unique young lady. It's not because I'm your mother, but if I were not, you would be one of my top persons in life. So just
Oh,
want to get that out of the way.
thank
But
you.
like Timmy said, my life has been one pivot after another pivot, and if it weren't for pivot, I would be dizzy.
Mm,
First of all, I'll start with I had told the story in one of other broadcasts about my pivot from unmarried to married. It took others, it took them easy, but it took me a long time. So this idea of joyous living, I had had many things in my life that would have made me become the most miserable person, but I decided to intentionally live a joyous life, and that's why it's become my my platform to help people live joyously. Well, I'm talking about pivot. I had when I first got my I first of all, I did not get engaged for a long time. When I did got engaged, I it took forever to get married. So I went through, talk about single, I was there. Talk about long engagement, I was there. Then when I got married, it took a long time again for me to get pregnant. I talked about that somewhat in another video. So if you notice, each point I could have been bitter, sad, but somehow the Lord taught me how to be joyous. And because I learned this, I have not perfected it. Somebody, a friend of mine said, you know, how if you on a 4 point grade, I am on 2.5. I haven't reached 4 point yet. So nobody has finished learning. But I know I have the tools. I've developed the tools to be intentionally joyous. So pivot, I when I got married and after the Lord opened the way for me to have children, I decided to devote my life to raising my children. So for many years while they were growing up, I was a stay-at-home mom. Look, when I was in college, I was voted most likely to succeed by my professor, my microbiology professor. But when I had children, I decided I wanted to. These children, I wept every month to have them, and so I would stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom. That was a point where I could have been so discouraged or say, "Oh, this brain, this intelligence, I'm doing nothing with it." But I decided to learn as much as I could in that situation. So I went and got computer literate. I started doing so many things which were not considered job per se, but they were self-improvement. And so
certifications and things.
certifications and all of that. So I got computer science and this started going to school to improve myself. I think in readiness for when the children will be grown enough, matured enough for me to go back to work.
Hmm.
And so I got a nursing degree. I entirely pivoted from microbiology to computer science and then back to nursing, which is closer to microbiology. And so it was nursing I did for over 13 years. And now I have retired. But before I retired, I said, I love to work with people. My husband and I have been working with people, marriage counseling and all of that. So I decided to get certification, health coach certification, and life coaching certification because I want to still continue to help people, coach people, share. It's a kind of sharing what I had learned in my
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
So that's a summary of my journey through pivot strategy.
Awesome. And so I have the benefit of having been there, from the perspective of being a child, watching my mom get countless degrees and being like, does this lady never get tired? How does she just keep going for all those things? I don't know that she mentioned, but she just got her MBA. Was it not last year, but the year before that?
Yes.
Yes. So this is one thing that I talk to our clients about whenever we're in the career stage, right? There are some things that you have a natural proclivity for that sometimes you might overlook and just think, oh, it only works for a career. But looking at my mom, she knew that she loved caring for people. She has a nurse's background, so she went and did health coaching. And so looking at the things that you just naturally are good at and trying to figure out how can I use these things in other areas of my life. I think especially in the US, we can be a little tunnel vision to think about how we can use our gifts. And sometimes we think our gifts can only be in the context of a 9 to 5. But here's my mom using it for the benefit of people in a different stage of her life, which is awesome. And so she talked about intentional joyous living. And like she said, it's a whole platform. It's amazing because anyone can harness that mindset to think about, well, my situation might not have changed, but the only thing I can change is me and my perspective. Mom, can you tell us a little bit about your Feel More Joy Now challenge that you did last year?
Yes, that's one of my the happiest moment of my life when I could lead some people from feeling, especially the moment we were then, there was despondence in the world. There were very little you could look to and say, I want to feel joyous. But we know the advantages of joy. Joy takes over, it makes your life better, reduces stress. And so all of those diseases that come with stress, you're able to uh, do away with them. So I just said, I want to run a challenge for you to feel more joy in whatever situation you are in. Yeah, justifiably, there may not be much to be joyous about, but there is no situation that you cannot find joy. Some people say, oh, I'll feel more joy when I get married. Some say, I'll feel more joy when I have children. You have children. Oh, I'll feel more joy when those children grow up and leave the house. When they leave the house, you say, oh, I'll feel more joy when I have grandchildren. So it's endless. So, how about feeling more joy now in your current situation? And so we ran this challenge. It was a 7-day challenge where we navigate through life. What are the scenarios you would face in life? And so there were tools. I learned those tools. And through my research, I found other tools too that you can use to feel more joy every day. So we practiced feeling joy every day for 7 days. And it was brilliant. So many positive things came out of it. So that's the feel more joy. And I want to run it again because there's need for it
Mm-hmm.
every time. If you had learned it before, run it again. It's like you continue to do it.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
And it was really great to see because Auntie Mina's right that it is a constantly moving target when you think about putting off joy until your circumstances are perfect. And so the Feel More Joy Now challenge is helping you build a muscle, a muscle for practicing gratitude and cultivating joy in your life. So I'm really excited. Auntie Mina typically does that around her birthday month, which is in October. So please keep an eye out for that. Speaking of keeping an eye out for things, the best way to find out information, we're not done yet, don't worry. The best way to find out information about Auntie Mina is through her Facebook page. So I'm actually going to share the page right now so that you can see what we're talking about. And then um, just let you know that this is a page that you can actually visit at any time. So Auntie Mina's page is right here. Please check it out, like it, and follow it. You'll get updates about different things going on. There are all sorts of different communities that are going on. That's something I really enjoyed early in the pandemic. My mom and I were talking about community. Community is really important to us. We always had community around us, and we knew that community was what got you through really hard things. Community is what helped you grow. And so Mom, can you tell us a little bit about, I keep forgetting to call it Timina. Timina, could you tell us about your community and tell us about what people can expect on your Facebook page?
Okay, my Facebook page, first of all, I started it because of this desire to get a group of women who will benefit, who will form a community, because I believe in community. There's so much isolation, and isolation leads to all kinds of things. You may think that you are in a world of your own, going through what you're going through, but when you come together, you're able to share. And that's what my Auntie Mina Facebook group is about, where we share. It's a private group where we share uh, people. It's not just me. All the people who have been through things are able to share their experiences and their expertise, all to help women. I'm very passionate about women,
Mm-hmm.
and I could talk about women and all that is out there for us. How important you are as a woman. God, especially something that makes me so happy when God wanted to show His love towards people. He said, "Can a woman forget her suckling babe?" So the love of a mother, the love of women, the what how God looks at women is really important, and it's unfortunate. Most of us don't realize it. So that's what the group is about. And from that group came out um, another, well, a friendship. I know we'll talk about that later, but this particular one is just any woman. It doesn't matter your religion, your what you're doing in life. If you are retired, you're young, or whatever, you're still working, mother, grandmother, single, we invite you to join us and share in this experience of togetherness.
Yes. So this is a page that you can find if you just search Auntie Mina on Facebook. You could be a part of this community. I did want to make a distinction. The page is public, but there is a private community that is attached to it as well that you can request and invite
Yes.
into. And so far, I think you all have been on Zoom on Saturdays, sharing encouraging words, and I've been hearing how much has been blessing people. So if you're interested in walking alongside some amazing women, please make sure you check that out on the website.
Oh,
Um,
Timi, can I
yes,
say something about
sure.
the offshoot of that community? Is another one, like we call it Christ focused friendship.
Hmm.
Friendship cannot be forced, but if you decide in a group you want to be friends, friendship, Christ focus. It's not a place to come talk about mundane things, but Christ focus, because we are dealing with so much in today's world, and we believe that forming doing life together as friends helps you do life better. And
Hmm.
so we call CFFs, Christ Focused Friendship. So in that group, we do Bible studies, prayer meetings, and all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I highly encourage you check that out because that's a really great group. Like I said, I've heard many, many good things from it. Speaking of CFFs, I'm gonna pause for a moment and let you know. Oh no, I'll skip. I one more thing before I show you that. Auntie Mina is also an author and has a few books in the pipeline that are coming. So I want to make sure you also know about that. Remember, Auntie Mina's challenge is all about intentional, joyous living. There's a really amazing resource that she has made available. Let me pull it up for you so you can see it. It is here. It is on Amazon. Auntie Mina's code name or her alias is Mina Love. So here's her notebook here. Auntie Mina, will you tell us a little bit about your book?
Okay, this one is just a notebook. It's a blank 120-page notebook. The cover is smooth, velvety, very attractive. But I made this notebook for you to, for anybody who has it, to note down things, because writing, one of my challenge is why you write thoughts, gratitude. So if you do not document, like a nursing would say, if it's not documented, it's not done. The same thing about our lives. If you are a journal, if you journal, you find that if you're a person who journals, you are able to articulate your thoughts better, and you're able to remember things. And so this notebook is for those kind of things, for you to write down things. You can jot down whatever comes to your mind. And a lot of people have written books from their what they wrote down. So it's to encourage you. There's another one that I put there. Is it's like a recipe book. I like journalists. You know how you get into find all kinds of recipe and put on a little papers in your kitchen. And at the end of the year, you say, where are all my recipes? So I have another book, recipe book also. I'm going to share the link in the comment later for you to just be in the habit of journaling, writing down things. So this is to encourage that.
Yes, and I forgot to mention the Feel More Joy Now challenge has an amazing workbook that goes along with it. So that's something else that you get as a part of this free challenge. A lot of these things, it's about being reflective. That's a lot of what we do with the Pivot Strategist. A lot of our content that we create gives you an opportunity to really look at your life and ask yourself, is it going in the direction that I want it to go? On one of our last broadcasts, I mentioned that you might be looking and saying, I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm really living my life. Many times people just go through the motions, but then you start to see things like intentional, joyous living. How can I intentionally invite great positive experiences into my life? And so, even if it's something like, hey, I realize I don't have community, let me go find it. I realize I'm in a career that doesn't make sense. I realize that I'm approaching my relationship in a way that is not sustainable for both of us. How do I make a pivot?
Mm,
So, a lot of the work that we do as coaches is that we get to really help people figure out what's next, right?
yes.
If you figure out whatever is happening now is not to your standards, you can always change it. You can
Yes.
always change that. So that's one of the things as the newbie coach, right? My mom's the veteran coach, but as a newbie coach, I've been encouraged to hear that people have that light bulb moment where they realize, oh, I have total autonomy here, that I can
Yes.
actually control some elements of my life. And then it impacts my life in that it starts changing the direction of some things that I thought could never change.
Mm,
Um, oh, and Timina, I have one more thing. I mentioned that I'm going to be throughout the week introducing you to the rest of our strategists. This is really just a family affair, like an excuse to get on the phone with my family and really celebrate the expertise that we have. Someone that is a new strategist is my dad. He's a retired engineer and he is brilliant, such a smart guy. So when you put my mom's coaching and my dad's strategy together, it's an amazing thing. And like Auntie Mina said, they've been doing relationship coaching for over 30 years. And I have seen literally marriages be restored. People coming continually to our house, doing the hard work of bringing their marriages together. Mom, can you tell us a little bit? Sorry, Mom, Auntie Mina, can you tell us
it's
about
okay.
the podcast? Let me pull it up here so people can see. Can you tell us a little bit about the podcast?
Okay. One day, my husband and I, we always make sure we did quiet time together, and sometimes our quiet time becomes something like Bible study. So many, so we decided, well, we read a passage in the Bible that says when God's people stay together and talk, God listens in and creates a memorial. And so, wow, it's good for Christians to be talking. If we are talking with that mindset that God is listening in, then our conversations will be different. And so we said, let us talk about God. It's like what we discuss anytime two Christians or people meet together and they're talking, it's a commemorative. I know it's a tongue twister. Commemorative, something that is put as a memorial, Christ-centered colloquy. It's colloquy is self-explanatory. And so because of these four C's, we call it the C4 podcast. And where we talk about the realities of the Christian walk. So there's all the topics about your living, what we can talk about, our children, our career, our joy, our everything we talk about. And so this last year we have been married for 40 years. And so we decided we had learned a few lessons in our 40 years of marriage. But we said, let's just get 40 of those lessons that we learned. So that's what we started the podcast with. So we've been recording our lessons and we eventually put this in a book that will be coming out before my husband's birthday in November. So there are these podcasts going on. We're still recording. So it would be nice if you would listen to it and share with other families.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to shout out Michelle in the comments who says, I absolutely love this.
Thank
Michelle's mom is also a business owner and she's always cheering her mom on. So thank you so much for being here, Michelle. Love it. So yes, I think we're, as consultants and strategists and coaches, we're big believers that if there is a hard thing that someone has done before you, you can learn from their lessons and you don't have to repeat their mistakes. And the light bulb moments that they have, they can share them with you. And so as a person who's not yet married, I love listening to the lessons my parents have had because they've had other wise people who've sown into their lives. And so they share so freely. I hope you listen to the podcast episode so you get an idea of what they're like as coaches, because when they're coaching you in your relationship, they're extremely empathetic and they are very, very wise. So you'll get a feel for that for the podcast in case you're thinking like, I might want to do some marriage counseling. Are these the coaches for me? Please, please, please check out those episodes to get a feel for what they're all about. All right. So I see that we're coming close to the end of our time together. We promised that we would just do these quick lunch and learn introductions of our coaches. And I want to pause and time out. I know I've been calling her Coach Mina, but this is my literal mom. And I want to say that I'm very, 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 very proud of her. We talk a lot about pivots, and I don't think we acknowledge enough how much bravery, how much courage it takes to pivot, because for many people you've done something for a long time and maybe you're even well known for it. Maybe it's what you know, you have a routine, you have it down packed. And so to pause that and to do something entirely different is very, very hard to do. So I want to just toast my mom for a second and just say congrats. When you pivoted into retirement,
you.
you started thinking, what do I do with all of this energy, first of all, and then what do I do with all this expertise and all of this desire to help people? And the first thing you thought to do was to start a business after retirement. So I just want to say I'm extremely proud of you. I'm proud to be in this business with you. A lot of people comment that, oh, mother-daughter duo, how do you get along so well? Y'all don't understand. This lady is one of my best friends, one of my favorite people in this world. And so we have so many great conversations about what's happening in the world, what kind of support people need. So it's an honor to be on this side of the spectrum of coaching, where I get to coach exclusively with life and career, and she gets to do relationships and retirement and other things like that. And so we have our lanes that we run in, but we do business together because we're under the umbrella that if you are going to pivot, you're going to need a guide. And it would be our absolute honor to guide you in all of the pivotal stages of your life. So I'll pause and let my mom say any last words on our live that you would like to add.
Oh, Timmy, thank you so much for those awesome say things you say about me. I'm blushing, but thank you so much. Yes, I love my daughter, I love my children, and one thing I know in life is everybody has something to offer, and nobody needs to make you believe that you are less, that you don't have anything to offer. That's something I do on my website. I say you have a voice, I can help you let the world hear that voice. And the way I look at it, if you don't speak, if you don't use speak that thing God gave you, you are denying the world and your family and those around you that opportunity to learn from you. And so I, like I said, my platform is Intentional Joyous Living. I talk about, I just retired, and it took, like Timmy said, it took bravery. But I said, at any point in time, if you are doing something and you're feeling, oh man, oh how, and it's a drag in life, or maybe your mind. I have a lot of energy, and I know just doing 9 to 5 was not satisfying me at this stage in my life. And so money is not everything. A lot of us stay where we are because we're afraid to step out. But look, if you don't step out, you would not know that you could do something. Look at Peter in the Bible. He stepped out of the boat. That's how he knew that he could walk on water. So if you have to step out first and know, and Timmy and I could help you pivot strategies. Pivot. I'm so glad for the word pivot. You are not going to fall. You still have
Mhm.
a support, but you are
Yeah.
just turning around and focusing on something else. And
Mhm.
so we love you. It's our desire to help you pivot. Pivot nicely, joyously. It's possible to be joyous in today's world. And we just want to help in whatever we can. And I am a happy person, as most times it's contagious. So if you are in my life in any way, my joy radiates and will fall onto you. Okay, so praise God.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mom, for joining me. This is Auntie Mina. Like I said, you will see her around for the rest of the week. We're going to be celebrating and introducing you to the rest of our strategists. As you can tell, I'm a big family person, and I always see the God given talents that people have. And so our family is so funny that other people have regular New Year's Eve parties. But for us, for New Year's Eve, we, number one, write a letter to our future self, declaring what we'd like to see. But we also have business meetings. Just, hey, what business ideas do you have? And how do you want to impact the world? How can we support you? So we're just that type of family. And when we started noticing that our other family members have amazing gifts and talents for the world, we're like, why not just team up together? And so we have every flavor of the rainbow when it comes to personality. And so you'll find someone that you resonate with and want to work with. So, like I said, I'm Timi Komo, half of the pivot strategists. This is Auntie Mina, the other half of the pivot strategist. And throughout this week, you will meet the rest of our other strategists who also happen to be family. In the future, we will have we named it strategists with an S because we're always looking for brilliant people who make amazing coaches and strategists and consultants. So yes, later on in this week, we are going to also talk about career things. We'll talk about relationship things. And so you'll see, I think you'll see Auntie Mina again tomorrow. She's going to be with my dad, Coach Ebby, strategist Ebby, my dad. I'm just probably going to call him dad. And I'm just going to be here like a fly in the wall, but they're going to talk to you about partially 40 lessons that they've learned from relationships, but also things that you can do to strengthen your relationship. So that's going to be tomorrow. I will give you a heads up. Likely, LinkedIn will not be our live for tomorrow, but you'll see us on our YouTube page and Facebook. So keep out for that. And one last thing, if you're interested in receiving coaching from us, our links are on www.timikomo.com/coach. We do have a 15-minute chemistry call that you would do with me, and then we'll figure out what coach or strategist makes sense for you to work with next. So whether it is career coaching that you need or relationship coaching that we need, we have you covered all across the board. All right. So we're just at the end of our time. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you
Thank
once
you
again.
so much. Thank
First,
you.
the coach and Auntie Mina here for joining me for the session and really thinking up this whole business. She's the reason that we're here. So we're grateful.
Well,
Um,
good to me.
you're welcome, Mom. And then thank you to you for taking time out of your lunch break. If you're here on the live stream recap, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.